It's crazy how somebody's words has the power to tear you down if you let that. And I was the one that if you were in a quote unquote authority figure position, and if you tell me something, I thought that was right, or I didn't investigate it for myself, because you're in this position and you got here because of what you know, and so on. And you learn real quick. You may have ran some shit in your neighborhood. You thought that was your neighborhood, but yeah, the white folks got something for you, and it's called, they not only just beat your ass, forget that. The ultimate thing is death. Instead of canceling the shows like a whole lot of promoters would do, hell, I just look at it like, whose birthday is it? Well, here's your birthday gift. We having a birthday party tonight, and the show must go on. I'm paying this artist the ungodly amount of fees.
Welcome to Prodigal, the podcast, where we discuss inspiring stories of self-discovery and transformation. Join your host, Don Jackson, and his dynamic co-host, Big Sean, as they lead you through captivating conversations, all designed to ignite your spirit and broaden your horizons. Whether you're on a journey of personal growth or simply enjoy staying up to date on the latest in culture, you've made the right choice. Get ready to be inspired, entertained, and enlightened. This is Prodigal, the podcast.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How the hell is you doing?
Man,
I'm doing all right, baby. I'm glad to make it out here.
Huh?
Yes, it is. It's hot as hell out here in Dallas, but I'm glad to be here.
Same here in Southern California. It's hot, but
Okay.
we're going to make it do what it do, man. I'm glad everyone can tune in to another episode of
Welcome.
Prodigal. We're gonna dive right into it. I got something very, very special. As you know, we just launched the podcast, and we kind of want you guys to get a feel for us and get to know us. And today, we're going to talk about Big Sean. But Brian's just going to give you an overview of his life and so forth, his life of transformation, his ups and downs, his triumphs and victories, and just give you just a little bit about him. Huh?
How much time do we have?
Well, we don't have that much time, but we know we would be here until time next year.
Yeah, how about we'll just go all the way up to the third grade?
We'll let you start where you choose to start at, man. So, Sean, you had a like I say, a triumph life, many successes and failures, like we all have. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You grew up, I think, single parent household, or give us your background, man.
Yeah, like. The majority of black folks, besides, people like you were privileged, to have a mama and a daddy, and then have siblings, and y'all all got the same daddy, not a borrowed daddy. But I grew up, I'm from Cushing, Oklahoma, as you know, Cushing Tigers, home of, and I don't know, me and my mother, single parent, young parent, and just watched the struggles of, how that could be. My mother was a believer in education. She had this mantra that she would say over me and like praying over me. She said, I'm raising a husband and a father, a gentleman and a scholar. And, after hearing that so many times in life, I'm like, hey, a husband and a father. What if I don't want to be married? What if I don't want kids? Well, I got to get married. I got to have kids because that's what my mama said. And a gentleman and a scholar, I don't want to be nice all the time. I don't want to open the doors for everybody, because don't nobody appreciate that shit. You hold the door for a woman today, she just walks straight on through. Don't even say thank you. Don't look back at you, smile or nothing. Yeah, you get tired of that type of shit.
Especially under the age of 30.
Yeah, well, you forget that. Yeah, so, ups and downs, I've seen it all. I was a cat that made it through public schools, private schools, and all that, and thinking that growing up, I wanted to be an attorney. Imagine that. I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to attend Oral Roberts University and majoring in law and all that good stuff. And then it turned out that, I felt more comfortable on the other side of the law.
Oh.
Yeah, you get out on the silly block and do what all, that we were as young black men in the late 80s and 90s were doing. And I wasn't immune to that. I attuned to that. And I fit right in with that whole situation. But, like anything else, these people, they have a place for you. They have a place for you to come sit your ass down. And I was welcome first class, red carpeted.
Red
Bring
carpet.
your ass on over here. We got something for you. Yes, sir, boss. And that's another thing. You learn real quick. You may have ran some shit in your neighborhood. You thought that was your neighborhood. But yeah, the white folks got something for you. And it's called, they not only just beat your ass, forget that. The ultimate thing is death. And yeah, we'll talk about that in the mad segment, but that segues into that. But you see a whole lot of that, and then they put us in confinement in these cages and dangle things in front of us and say, hey, it's like gladiators. And that's what we call young folks in jail, put them in gladiator school. And that's what it is, like the terror dome. You just get folks in there just to go buck wild over a little prize, and a little prize is, an extra hour on TV or whatever. It's just some dumb shit. And you have folks in there killing themselves, killing each other over, I say, superficial, dumb shit. Sadly, we can't think our way past today. We can't think about what it's going to be like tomorrow when we get up out of here. Where we going? What all did we leave behind us? Who did we leave behind us? Not just while we are away for these few years, but in the ultimate price of giving your life. Man, sitting back and watching people die, get murdered, suicide, all that kind of shit, that works on one psyche. That turns
I can imagine.
into
It does. I can imagine. Question. So when you were young, what's some advice you could give to some of the youngsters nowadays, even though it's a different time and it's the same cycle that we all are subjected to? If you 13, 14, 15, have little leeway by not having a two-parent household where you're able to be out with the fellas in the streets going to always pull you in if there is no other void. So most people, like with your makeup, when I say your makeup, outgoing, ain't scared of shit, those are prime candidates for the streets. So,
well, I mean,
elaborate on
but to think about it, but at 14 years old, my stepfather was a pilot and he owned a plane. And so at 14, I started flying. I was going to have my pilot license before I had my driver's license. Unfortunately, he was killed in a plane crash that I was supposed to be in that particular day. I was supposed to have been flying that day. And as that kid from that era, at that point in time, I knew nothing about the streets. I didn't know. My homeboys, what we were trying to do was go somewhere, dance and show out in front of the girls and this and that or whatever. But although I did that, I participated in all that. But at 14 and 15, there was a magazine that I used to read that black folks didn't know nothing about. It was called the Rob Report. That was my book because it had all the nice, fancy aeronautic, the helicopters, the planes, and the Rolls Royces, and all that kind of stuff. And what pieces of jewelry, as far as the watchmakers and all. That's what I was into. I wanted to know more about that. And then once I made that transition of, instead of working in aeronautics, hell, I wanted to be the first black air traffic controller in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Instead of going on those traits, that lane, when I found myself being able to make, I don't want to call it easy money, because selling drugs, and that's where I was selling drugs now. Selling drugs, it is a full-fledged business enterprise from every aspect of purchasing, and you need to know your product, your target market, and then you have manufacturing, then you have distribution, you have a sales department, and all of these fashions of running this business because that's just what it is. I made my first $1 million in 6 months selling drugs. And we're talking about, I knew nothing about the drug game. I knew nothing about it. I let two of my cousins talk me into getting involved in it because they were smokers. And all they were thinking about was, Sean can go out here and do this and that or whatever. But if Sean got some, Sean will give me some. And that's all they were thinking about. And I got caught up in that mess. And I let them, they end up beating me. I spent $450 buying my first little package, and it ended up only making $600 out of that. And I was supposed to make $2,000, but let them beat me. And I had no idea. From that point on then, I said, hey, the way I get it is the way they gonna get it. I'm not deviating from this plan at all. And from zero, and I'm saying less than 6 months, I made $1 million out there hustling in the game. Now, with that came a whole lot of stress. That came a lot of wear and tear on my body, on the mind, on the mindset. And then the way that you start to look at other people, you don't see them as humans. You don't see them as people that you can collaborate with, or people that you can use them as confidants where you can give all your problems to. You don't see that. You don't look at it like that. Every individual is against you and wants something from you. If it's the product, or your time, or your energy, or your money, it's always never have someone just step back and say, hey man, you know what? I'm thinking about you today. Are you all right? Do you have gas money to get today? Some of the craziest shit about that, man, I can have $30,000, $40,000 in my ass, cash money, laying around to do something with, and I'd be sick as hell. $30,000, no product. I'm sick. I mean, physically sick. But if I got 3 keys, and I mean, seriously, and $15 in my pocket, oh, I'm good. Good. Because I knew what that'll do for me and what that'll bring. I just got to get my ass on over here. I'm serious. Got to get enough gas to get to where I need to go, because I'm going to make a few $1,000s right now, today, tomorrow, and so on. And then that put me right back on. That's that hustle. You got to keep going. Keep going. I don't think kids today are built that way, because
correct. That's what I was going to say.
They come with it's instant. Everything is instant. It's a
get
damn
money,
shame
get money.
You can give a 6-month-old baby a phone, and in 2 days, this nigga know how to turn it on, go to an app, go to whatever
where he want to go.
He or
she want to go.
Don't show them in 6 months.
And once they know YouTube and know their commercials and songs, oh, that's a wrap. They go straight there.
And know how to skip through all that. I'm saying kids today are not built like the soldiers that I'm saying that we came from.
They weren't built
out of that era. No. You
they
can't even get a nigga
outside,
to go outside.
They were built in the room playing games.
No, not at all. And I think that I always call myself educated fool, because I did attend college for a year. I didn't graduate, and I was discouraged in college because when I got to college, my major was radio broadcast and communication. But I had been working professionally in radio since the age of 14. So, it was nothing that they could teach me about operating a board and potting and splicing your ads and all that good stuff. And one thing that my college professor told the class that discouraged me, that really just messed me up and had me disengaged in all this. And I'm thinking back, it's crazy how somebody's words has the power to tear you down if you let that. And I was the one that if you were in a quote unquote authority figure position, and if you tell me something, I thought that was right, or I didn't investigate it for myself, because you're in this position and you got here because of what you know, and so on. And this professor told us, and we were working on programming, on how to program a show from a program director's perspective. And he said, you cannot play 2 black artists back to back in radio. You cannot play them back to back in radio. And of course, that was coming from a perspective that all radio was CHR, contemporary hits, in other words, and or pop and rock stations. We didn't have many urban stations that were on the FM dial. You just had a few. Everybody else was on the AM. And so at that point in time, the programming didn't go through the same regimented as what he would have is in from a predominantly white college institution. They wasn't teaching you that
Correct.
then, because black folks radio didn't matter because they were in the numbers. You know what I'm saying? You didn't poll those numbers back then. And when he said that, I remember saying, you mean tell me I can't play a Michael Jackson record and a Prince record behind each other? Well, what about a Prince and a Whitney Houston? And I remember this. And what about a Luther Vandross? And wait a minute, you can't play Al Jarreau or a Whitney Houston right behind each other? No, you had to wait 20 minutes in between. That was the time frame on the clock. So you got 4 black songs an hour, basically. That fucked me up about, I don't want to come to this class no more because I'm not learning anything. And
so after that, what did you get into?
When I left college, oh boy, I jumped out of college and I did the food. I did the every black boy thing. I was headed to the gym. I'm in the gym every day playing basketball.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You said you did the every black boy thing. Explain that. Define what's the every black boy thing.
We in the gym. We out here in the gym playing basketball, or I mean,
I'm just trying to figure out what the black boy thing means.
Youngsters, we at the gym. We in the gymnasium, shall I say. Right. Not necessarily trying to go lift weights, Jim. No, we in the gymnasium. Let me fix that. When I was doing all that good stuff and coming home, getting in the shower, then laying around on the couch and this and that, whatever, I have to tell you that whole story, how I dropped out of school. I had all those scholarship money, and I took my scholarship money because I'm mad at the programs and everything, football, and I'm mad at the core curriculum and all that good shit. I took all my scholarship money in the month of November for December's check. Back then, when you had scholarships, the checks came in your name, and they came to the dorm where you were, and you took it over to the business office and gave that to them, signed them, and it's crazy. And they deposited all the checks. They ain't giving you none of the money. They taking all that money. And I said, man, dude, I had a thought. I said, Sean, keep your damn money. So I had a savings account at home, So I decided that I would take all of my checks, and I came back to Tulsa, put them things in my savings account, got that money, and went to One Eden Square. If you remember, the apartments, One Eden Square was 61st and Memorial.
That's all locations.
So I called myself, that was high dollar shit right there. So I went and I signed a 6-month lease and paid them up front, everything, cash deal right then. So that's what I did coming out of college. Every weekend, I'm still going home, taking my clothes over to my mama's house, which is from the north side to south side. So I'm taking my clothes home, letting her go and wash my clothes and cooking up some stuff on Sunday. And she thinking I'm going right back to school. And no, instead, I'm taking my ass right old South Tulsa.
Well, tell me about.
I did that.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
And so when I did that, that all ended in April when she found out that I wasn't in school, calling the dorm and asking for me.
That's where I was going with it. What happened when she found out you wasn't?
And that's when that shit hit the fan, and then I ended up having to come home. So I went home then. So from May, and I'm laying around from May until it had to be maybe October-ish or so. And my mom was like, you ain't gonna just keep laying around here. You're gonna have to go get a job and do something. Cause I don't know what, I was staying in shape, whatever. She said, you have to go get you a job or something, get your ass off this couch and this and that. Okay, all right, well, fine. You want me to go get a job and this and that, whatever. I'm coming, get this now. I'm coming from Ben Hill, and I'm coming up, and I stop at, it used to be Get and Go in that Gill Creek Shopping Center. So I was stopping there, go get me a drink. There's a boy on that same sidewalk. There's a recruiting office. So it just happened to be a boy in there. He dressed blues and we greeted each other. And I just looked and I said, so what y'all do? And he's like, well, you know, I'm in the Army and I'm a recruiter and this and that or whatever. I'm like, so what y'all do? Y'all get to shoot people and all that good stuff? And he said, well, you know, if we go to war and this and that. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, how much y'all pay? You know, and I'm just thinking, you know, how about some money? And then, you know, he found out I played football and this and that or whatever. And he was like, here's a lie. You know, if you enlist in the Army, you can play football for the Army and that's your duty. You don't have to go. If we go to war, then you don't have to, because you're on the football team. I'm like, what? Shit, sign me up. I'm going to go play football. Ain't said shit about you got to go to West Point. Ain't said shit about it. That's the lie. You know what I'm saying? That's the bullshit.
Come on, play football for the country.
I'm fighting for mine, yeah. So I signed up at that day. I went and I signed up, and then, you know, you have to go take the civil service test and all that good stuff. And what I did was, when I signed all these papers, and I said, so how soon can I leave? Now, this was in October. He said, well, the first thing we probably have going out is, you know, next month, November. And I'm like, okay, that's what I want. You're putting me on that right now. You make sure I get out of here right there. He says, okay, not a problem. Took them paperwork home, sitting on the counter, waiting for my mom to come home. I'm just pacing. I'm shit. Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm show you. My mom walked in the door and she seen these papers on this counter and she picked them up and she reading them. She said, what is this? You enlisted in the Army? Yeah. Now what? Yeah, you want me to get a job? I got a job. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going to the Army. I'm already signed up, and I leave next month. I'm thinking my mama's going to say, what? No, you ain't nothing. She said, are you serious? And I said, yeah. She said, I'm so proud of you. What? Oh, that's good for you. I'm happy for you. No. You serious?
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute. Oh, no. Wait a minute. I'm trying to go down there the next day and tell the dude that I was, you know, shit, I don't want to do this and that, whatever. And then here come the next lie. Well, you already signed up, so you have to go to jail now. If you don't do it, you back out, you go to jail. Oh, shit, you know, so I was stuck. What I didn't know is I can go take that civil service test and flunk it. And I guess they probably would have put me in the infantry then, because that's where all the slow people go. They feel that don't have value in life. They put you on the front line in infantry. But anyway, that's how that happened.
Well, man, yeah, you had some awesome stories of your upbringing and so forth. A classic, unique story of a black man overcoming challenges.
Mm-hmm. One black
now,
man, right?
We'll kind of fast forward just a little bit. And, of course, I mean, you've had a professional career after, you know, your college and so forth and so on. I understand you've been in the entertainment industry. So we can kind of fast forward and kind of get and take us through just a little brief of that and get us here before we go into break.
As I say, I was in radio, starting radio at 14, and my first concert that I promoted, well, I was a co-promoter on, that I really didn't understand the game or the business. I was 16 and brought New Edition, Houdini, and the Fat Boys to Tulsa, and was out at O'Brien Park. And the guy who was the real promoter on the situation, he just took some of my money and bought the package and everything. And my dumb ass at that point in time, all I wanted was me and my crew, my friends, we get to go backstage. We get to hang backstage and we can bring a girl, just one girl, around. And so we're backstage. And he's like, yeah, you can get backstage. Yeah, bring me this money. The money aspect I wasn't even thinking about. I wasn't caring about. Nigga, this is New Edition, Houdini, and the Fat Boys. Boy, please. In Tulsa, O'Brien Park, boy, I'm telling you, well, y'all don't know about O'Brien Park.
16 is
that's shoot 'em up
get
joint.
Kissed that night, huh?
Boy, I'm get to rub on the kneecap and some more stuff. But yeah, and I think once it settled in with me, I got that bug hit me about getting into the world of promotions and become a promoter. And the reason why I did that is because I'm a fan of the fans. I am a fan type of guy. I love sports. I love sports organizations who have the greatest fans following because I like that in this camaraderie. And I guess I have affinity to that because I was raised as the only child. So something that's good and gonna make us all holler at the same thing, be happy at the same thing,
Correct.
be mad at the same thing. I attach myself to that. And when I was able to look out and see people's faces and seeing how happy they are and were because this artist was in their hometown and I made that happen for these people, that's the perspective that I took on it. And it is just full of joy. And, I've had shows where I've only had 100 people there. I've had sold out shows. I done been through the ringers with them, and instead of canceling the shows like a whole lot of promoters would do, hell, I just look at it like, whose birthday is it? Well, here's your birthday gift. We having a birthday party tonight. And the show must go on. I'm paying this artist they ungodly amount of fees, but I've seen that, done all that. I've had some good days with it. I've gotten to meet and see a lot of things, meet a whole lot of people. You and I have done some dates and stuff together, and, the stories that we have together just riding up and down the roads on promotional runs. I find the joy in all of that and looking at the probabilities to come out of it from other up-and-coming artists or people who want to be artists. And can I get on the show? Can I be around the show? Can I just meet the artist? I found that to be kind of a soft spot and being able to make that happen for somebody. So back then, they didn't call it a meet and greet. I was a cat that I would bring folks back so they can meet the artist, say hello to the artist. And, even before we had the cell phones that you take the pictures on and shit, thinking about that. How recent did that really take place? With cell phones and taking pictures on them, man. Besides, we had the flip phones like in 09, 10, and 11, 12. Folks still have flip
just
phones.
The last 20 years.
And where you have to flip them, the Motorola's, you flip them up.
Correct.
And it ain't like you can take a selfie with that. It was just, what's in front of you. Yeah, I just had a sidebar, but that was kind of crazy. I believe I do. I found a lot of peace in that. And then we can get into where my job working at Universal Records. And so
give us just a little bit of background with that before we go into break. And that'll kind of catch us up. As you know, man, this, like you said, the entertainment industry is just not what it used to be. Everything is different.
Everybody.
Everything is different. You even got to move different now. You got to move different. You can't even, how we were able to move, you can't even move like that no more. I mean, it's expensive. You really have to travel with an entourage nowadays. It's just, I mean,
and somebody
it was some time I would
job.
always have security, but it was some time I could walk out with amount of money, whatever that amount is, and feel safe in whatever. You're a mark.
You can say it, $500,000. Yeah.
You're a mark now, period.
Oh shit! If you're
a mark now, period.
$10,000
Back then it wasn't. Yeah, because the kids, the world is different now. Back then it was just okay. That's done. He did this. He did it. You can't do that stuff now, man. Because it's all about getting money. They don't know you got money, or if you got money, they just assume.
The promoters used to, and to this day, was still high. You don't come out. You don't see, you move around the venue, you in the tunnels, going up to the box office and coming back and you whatever. And it used to be a time, I was that type, give me all my money. I want to see the cash, give it here out the box office. I don't know. I didn't have that trust with them saying they're going to wire me a check on Monday or Tuesday. Why the hell you got to wire me my money? You get to hold my money for all this time. Shit, no. Give me my cash. You got cash. I was that whole other mentality. I want to walk around. I felt secure with having my bag with me. Yeah, but that's crazy.
Oh, no, they need to wire that. Be too much money, man. I remember one time, it was just too much problem. I won't name the other promoter name, but we were coming in the airport. He had 60, I had 80 on it. It was fun to try to split it up to get through. We had so much problems trying to explain where that money came. It was too much trouble. We got through it. We wasted 2 hours trying to tell her, explain to security, this is our fucking money. And they boom, they calling, we showing flyers and of the show. And it's just like, never, it's just, but there's different ways now, but that was back in the day.
Yeah, they didn't expect your black ass to have that kind of cash. That's what that is. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
man. So like I said, you had
your name was Johnny.
a long history in the game. Like I said, the record game, you've been on all sides of the field, from management to record portion of it, promoter side of it. So what did you enjoy most about the record side of the industry?
I had that hustler's mentality. I came into the record game with the idea of it's just a different commodity. I can move these records just like I move some weight. And so it was all about, when you get in the record business, it's all about competition, because every Tuesday that program director is taking meetings with 15 major labels and 20 independent labels, and everybody is fighting for 3 new slots on the rotation this week. And you got all these folk coming in here with 1, 2, 3 different records that they want that guy to hear. And fortunately for myself, when you have one hot artist, it can move you up to the front of the line. Cash Money was our artist, and we come in there with what was detrimental to us, that Cash Money, we have 3, 4 records that we fighting to get on the radio at the same time, and then turn around and follow it up with Nelly, and then there were the St. Lunatics. That was crazy. You fighting for all of that. But one of my favorite, I guess, moments in the whole situation, again, is seeing the fans be able to get to the artist or the artist coming into that market in their hometown, and to know that I had something to do with that, just a little bit. From the record label perspective, I move around, and it was on their budget. And on their budget, shit, Universal at that time was like, they ain't giving a damn. Shit, they were the first ones to sign an artist to $100 million. That artist who got that first $100 million deal was Cash Money. And in 2.5, 3 years later, they got another $100 million. You know, it's to be a part of all that. Now, hold on. I ain't got 2 nickels of those $100 million. And I ain't got recognition of what made you great, how people seen you, what put you out in these streets or whatever. I ain't get to celebrate none of that. My homeboy who brought me into the game, I call him Big O. I ain't gonna, whether or not he wanted his name exposed or whatever. But Big O, everybody in the game know Dr. Funk. And he brought me in the game initially as somebody to help. And the next thing I know, he's the Southwest Regional Rep for Uni. And the next thing you know, and that's what Oklahoma, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. He can't be in all 5 of those states at the same time. So where he is, I ain't. I'm somewhere else doing the same thing he doing, building this brand, building these artists and all that. And like I said, to be a part of something like that and see the movement, that was a great experience. And, when I left out of there, I figured I could do this on my own. And that's when I went full time into artist management and concert promoting, and seeing that it can be done, because of course in that era, I'm watching Cash Money was the first hip hop artist to come out in charge of $100,000 for a show. That was unheard of. You get $100,000 for one show? Now, fast forward to today, you get $100,000 to do a walkthrough in a club. Now, go riddle me that.
Signs of times, man. It's changed. Technology's changed. Everything has changed. Everything, man. Man, those are some real interesting stories for the listening audience, man. Of course, I know.
Yeah.
I know most of those. I've heard a lot of your stories over the years and so forth. And that's awesome, man. That's awesome. From that point, let's do this, man. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back for What Sean is Mad About Today. You guys stay close.
Lord,
You're listening to Prodigal, the podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to Prodigal, the podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to embrace your own journey of self-discovery and transformation. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Join us again next time as we continue to explore the ever-evolving world of culture with your hosts, Don Jackson and Big Sean. Until then, keep discovering, keep transforming, and keep being the amazing person you are.